Hey guys, Dan the RBRT guy back with you again. Welcome back to the channel. So guys, this week's video centers around a question from one of you, a viewer. A fellow named Ulises wrote in and asked me, hey Dan, if I use a socket extractor to remove an exhaust manifold stud, can I reuse the stud? Ulises, the short answer is yes you can, but there's a couple things we need to consider. So we've got a junkyard motor with an exhaust manifold stud. Let me show you what I mean. So guys, the first thing you need to consider is socket extractor size choice. Now here I have a set of metric deep quarter drive. I'm going to choose a number 8. We're going to have a look at it. And you know the number 8's just too big. That's not going to do it. So we're going to choose a number 7. Let's have a look. That number 7 is the perfect size. The next thing you need to consider is, what does the stud look like? What kind of shape is it in? Is it really rusty? Can it accept the torque needed to crack it loose? And if I pound the socket extractor on it, is it just going to disintegrate? So the stud's got to be in reasonably good shape. The next thing to consider is you got to make sure when you hammer the socket extractor on, you get it on straight. So let's go ahead and hammer this on. Make sure you get it on good and straight, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. So as we take a ratchet, and I want to just call to your attention that all socket extractors, regardless of the drive size, this one's a quarter, 3/8 or half, all have a dual drive setup on them. So the hexagonal shape on the back of it allows you to use a bigger tool to drive it. Really great idea. So as we go ahead and start to loosen this up, we can see that the socket extractor made great engagement. I'd be able to take that out. We're going to go ahead and tighten it back down. And let's go ahead and just pull that socket extractor up off the stud. Come in through the back with the F.O.R rod. Pull it right off of there. Now what I want to show you guys is that the socket extractor cuts really nice clean grooves when you hammer it down on. That's the important part. You got to make sure you get it on straight. So as you hammer it down on the stud, it will cut the grooves it needs to engage. Now as you can see, I'm going to grab a nut and I can go ahead and just thread that nut right back down onto those threads, and look at that, I can hand tighten that right down. Because it cuts the nice clean grooves, it will accept the nut and you can tighten it down, no trouble whatsoever. So once you've put that stud back in, you can hang your manifold, put the nut down, tighten it on, and it'll be fine. So as long as you take these things into consideration, what's the stud look like? Should I be replacing it anyway? But if you've got to reuse it, as long as you choose the correct size socket extractor, hammer it down on nice and straight, you'll be able to reuse that stud no problem. So Ulises, thank you so much for writing in with that question. Guys, please keep them coming. They give me good video ideas, ways that we can show you how the RBRT line can be beneficial. You know, not only are the socket extractors great, wonderful for removing rounded nuts and bolts, I do believe they are the best stud extractor on the planet. Unlike those bigger silver ones with the floating ball bearings, you can heat a stud up just fine and use my socket extractor because there's no moving parts. Those silver ones tend to expand and then they don't engage well. So I know that when I was a Mac guy, I replaced quite a few of them from heat damage. Our socket extractor will absolutely get the job for you done. So guys, that's the video this week. Do me a favor, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, hit the notification bell, and please keep those comments coming. I'm Dan the RBRT guy. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much.